What's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the all-new 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Big shout out and thank you to Feeney, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram for providing the new two-row Grand Cherokee for today's video. Definitely take a look at their website down below. And the model that we're looking at today is a limited 4x4 finished off in Baltic Grey metallic and has an MSRP at $51,700. Underneath the hood of the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee, you're going to find a 3.6 liter naturally aspirated 6-cylinder engine. This V6 pumps out 293 horsepower with 257 pound-feet of torque, and it's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission and of course sends the power through the 4-wheel drive system. The overall curb weight comes in at 4,721 pounds, and it can even tow 6,200 pounds with payload at 1,200 pounds. And running on a 23-gallon fuel tank, you can achieve 19 miles per gallon in the city with 26 out on the highway. The overall length is 193.5 inches with wheelbase at 116.7, height is 70.9, and width is 77.5 inches. Ground clearance comes in around 11 to 12 inches, breakover angle is 24 degrees, and approach angle is 30 degrees. And then now moving on to the exterior styling with the newest generation Grand Cherokee. I really like how bold and muscular it looks. It definitely looks like a nice modern SUV. We can take a look at these headlights. You can see the DRLs up top that are also your turn signals. They're an integrated LED. Then we have chrome and black for the housings of the actual headlights, and they're really sunken into the front bumper. You get a chrome trim piece going beneath the headlights and all the way underneath the grille, and then more chrome slots as well as gloss black trim for the traditional 7-bar grille. Very nice and familiar design. You get the Jeep name right on the front of the hood as well, and it certainly does have that Jeep vibe. Down below you can also see our fog lights with some chrome trim, then you get some faux mesh on the farther sides to give it a nice aggressive design. Right in the center we get a huge opening to allow cooling to the engine, and it gives it a nice muscular appearance. You can see chrome trim down below and then plastic trim in the lower portion of the bumper, and then side reflectors. All of that fades its way to these front fenders as well as the hood, and you can see some sharp lines all within the hood, and it really does flow together nicely. And then moving to the side profile, the Grand Cherokee noticeably looks a little bit smaller than the new Grand Cherokee L, which will be the 3rd-row version. We do get a set of 18-inch wheels in all 4 corners, finished off in a really nice silver color, and they have a multi-spoke design. And then that black trim from the front bumper goes all the way around the front and rear fender arch, same with the lower portion of the door panels. We get some sharp lines in the lower part of the doors, the American flag with Grand Cherokee written out, and then a really sharp line going from the front fender all the way through towards the taillights. This gets a set of body colored door handles and then gloss black mirror caps with an integrated LED turn signal as well as chrome trim. That chrome trim goes all the way around the top portion of these windows and fades its way around in these rear pieces of glass. I think that's a very unique design, and I like the blacked out look for the lower portion of the windows. We also get a full panoramic sunroof up top with your roof rails and the shark fin antenna. And I really like the overall proportions for the Grand Cherokee. Very sporty design, and it really does have that Jeep look to it, and I like this rear C-pillar area, how it all comes together and kind of looks like it's a floating roof in back. This has a spoiler mounted up top with your integrated 3rd brake light as well as gloss black trim surrounding it. You can see the wiper blade in the center of the glass with the Jeep name, and then a gloss black trim piece connecting these LED taillights. I like how they're also sunken into the bodywork just like the headlights, and they have a smoked out design with a little bit of red trim. We get your limited logo on the right as well as a 4x4 badge on the left. Parking sensors down below with more of that mesh design. Then you can see all the chrome trim and the black plastic trim for the lower portion of the bumper with a hitch cover right in the center. So there's a good look at the exterior with the new Grand Cherokee. I like how it has more of a sporty vibe than the Grand Cherokee L. Similar design overall, but definitely a good proportion and really sharp design all around. We have Jeep's new key fob now, has Jeep on one side, really cool modern design to it. Then we can lock the car and double tap the engine start stop button. We do get remote start. The V6 engine will roar to life as you can hear, which is a pretty cool feature to have. Tapping that again, we can shut it off, and then keeping the key fob in my pocket, just grabbing the door handle, it'll automatically unlock. We can check out this interior. This limited trim level gets the global black interior color with the capri leather seats. You're also going to see a dark wood trim color and silver accents. Moving our way to the door panel, you can see the silver accent and then that really nice looking dark wood. I like how it has a matte finish. We have our release handle up top with memory seating. Then all of your mirror and window controls down below with lock and unlock, a nice little grab handle, the smooth leather and stitching, then a ton of storage space down below with part of your Alpine audio system. We get power controls for the seats right on this left side, even with lumbar support. Then the smooth black leather with the contrast stitching around the edge, a nice subtle design for the centers, really nice and smooth. You can also see the stitching going all the way up towards the headrests. Then spinning around to a black leather steering wheel with all that silver trim, white stitching, and then more of the wood trim in the center and the Jeep logo. And then now inside the Grand Cherokee, keeping my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and fire it up. Grand Cherokee comes up on the center LCD display. Then of course we get our secondary screen over in the center of the vehicle. So on this screen now, on the left side, we get your digital tach, as well as your speedometer on the right, with a digital readout right in the center. We have a panel on this left side of the steering wheel where you can control a lot of what you see in the center. You can scroll down and see vehicle information and monitor pretty much all the vitals within the car. Then continuing down, you have trip information, your terrain status. You can go left and right and see this. We have our steering angle, pitch and roll meter, which is a really cool touch. Then we also have our drive modes that will come up. We have this control down here. You can go down into a sport mode, and it gives you a cool depiction up in center. Then when you go up, you can see our automatic. We also have a snow mode, and then into our mud one. So really cool how that works. You can continue down into more items, like all of your audio settings, different messages, settings in general, and then back to our main menu. We have some Bluetooth and audio controls on the left side, and we can also see our cruise control on the right. There are buttons on the back side of the steering wheel for volume and tuning. Then we get a small paddle shifter on the steering wheel as well, which is a nice little touch. We get the turn signal stock on the left side, and then on the right we have all of our wiper blade controls. And then to the left of the steering wheel we have our headlight controls, interior lighting, and an electronic parking brake. Then we have one of the air vents, some smooth black leather type look design on this dashboard, and then smooth leather right here with some stitching. You can see more of this wood trim as well as the silver accent. Then up on top of the screen we have our engine start stop feature, lane keeping and traction control, then a shortcut for parking sensors. And if we take a look at this full touchscreen display, very HD graphics. I like how nice it looks. Full navigation screen setup, really HD view. We have our home icon over on the left that you can configure with what you want in it. We also have a shortcut for media down below. You have your comfort setting right here with all of your climate controls. You can easily use these to scroll up and down. Different zones, heated seats and steering wheel, all of your fan speed. We have phone integration as well, that'll pop up. Then a vehicle settings icon. You can take a look at the rear view camera, really HD with all of your guidelines. You have the off-road. You can launch our off-road pages as well. And you get a really good view of our differential, the steering angle, transfer case. All of your gauges come up, pitch and roll meter, terrain select. And if I go through our different drive modes, you can see that depiction change as well. So I really liked all this integration. It certainly adds a lot of touch to what this Jeep is going to offer you. We have our apps icon as well with a few things that will come up. Underneath the screen we do get physical climate controls as well, and when you toggle anything it comes up on the screen. As I change the temperature or the fan speed, you can see how it comes up. So I think that's a really good way to keep everything nice and in line. We have the physical buttons for the steering wheel and seats, mute, volume control, and then more climate controls down below, and then even a screen on off over on the right side. We get all this piano black right in the center here, and you can even press this open, and we get a lot of storage down below. We get USB ports, and then even a 12-volt outlet. And I can go ahead and close that. The drive mode select is right in the center. You keep your foot on the brake, and you just spin this to go into each drive mode that you're going to want, and then all the way back into park. Two cup holders on the bottom side with more of the piano black, and then we get the nice smooth black leather for the armrest. You can open this up, and you have a little bit of storage right there. Then you can grab the lower button and lift the entire thing up, and we have a pretty good amount of space in here for sure. And then taking a look at the glove box, pretty good sized bucket. And then one last look at the interior. I think Jeep's new Grand Cherokee design is really luxurious and sporty looking. I certainly like the leather on the seats, all the wood trim, and it really does feel like a luxurious modern SUV. Really nice touches. We even get a full panoramic sunroof with all of your controls up top. You can see the sunshade, the vent, you can open the glass itself. We have your LED dome lights, power liftgate, and then even a sunglass holder up in front. And then moving on to the rear seats now, if I open up the door, The door panel's finished off just like we saw up front, and then we get the same leather design all in back. This is a 3-seater bench row, and the middle seat even has a piece you can pull down, and you get a nice armrest with 2 cup holders. And then up in front, we get storage nets on the back side of these front seats, 2 air vents in the center with heated seats, a ton of USB ports, as well as an outlet right in the center. And then these seats do recline. The lever is right here, and when you pull it all the way back, these will actually fold down and lock nice and flat. You get a lot of access to the back here, and the headrest even automatically folds down when you do that. All right, and so sitting now in the back of the Grand Cherokee, if I recline the seat, it gets a lot more comfortable back here, and it's really not too bad. Headroom's pretty good. I'm 5'11", I have about 2 or 3 inches. I certainly love having a panoramic roof. It gets so much light in here, and it really makes it feel nice and open. Pretty big window, armrest is in a pretty good place, and then I like how you get the one in the center. You can see the differences between not reclined and reclined. And then legroom, I have the driver's seat set at my height. I have a few inches of knee room, at least 6 or 7 inches, and really good foot room as well. So for not being the 3rd row, really good back here. You even get grab handles up top with hooks, and then your dome lights up top. And then moving on to the cargo area, there's a handle on the back you can press, or double tap the button on the key fob, and the power liftgate automatically opens up. We have quite a lot of storage space in here, as you can see, really nice and squared off. You can even see the sub in the back. We have a few items in the center here, but a little cutout on the left side, and then you can lift this whole thing up and we have a full-size spare tire back here. And then with the seats folded down, you can see just how much more storage space you're gonna get in the back of the 2-row Grand Cherokee. Coming through the side here, you can see how nicely everything folds down. Really does maximize the cargo area, still getting you a ton of space up in front of these seats. All right guys, so we are setting off now in the Jeep Grand Cherokee. Let's test out this powertrain and everything. So nice and peppy. That got up to 45 miles an hour without really thinking. I'm just in the normal automatic mode, just kind of getting my bearings with this. So first and foremost, the ride quality seems really tight. Even just leaving the parking lot there, you can already tell this feels really just tightly put together, and like no loose ends or anything like that. It's a really nice place to be under my first initial impression. Getting my seat and everything squared away, I think you can get it into a pretty good position. I do feel really high up, and again, I do have plenty of headroom as well. This is as low as the seat can go, so you can't really get much lower than like the hood line. Hitting some potholes, the suspension is really nice and tight. I'm really impressed so far with just how the build quality feels in this. View out and everything, huge windshield, good mirrors to do everything, to look behind you, and then really no blind spots looking over your left and right shoulders. And I noticed the rear feels so close to me. That's really impressive. Just those 3rd windows back there, they feel like they're right behind me. So I have such a good view around this. And the fact that I can see the entire hood and everything, if you're gonna be hitting some trails with this, light off-roading, you really can pinpoint this and know exactly what you're doing. So let's go into the sport mode now. I like how the gauge cluster gets a little bit more performance oriented. I have all these gauges up here. The terrain select, you get a pretty cool depiction as well. And then by just tapping the paddle shifter, we get into the manual mode. Kind of gimmicky paddle shifters, to be quite honest. They're literally this big. They look cool from here, but I guess if you're gonna be towing or something with this, at least it gives you that extra control over the transmission. Really peppy, quite honestly. That's just half throttle, you get up to 60 miles an hour. Really nice the way everything drives. But so far, just really solid feeling SUV. I like the use of materials as well, like the leather and everything. And you can of course get an overland if you want even more luxuries, more real leather all throughout the interior. But I like the seating position a lot. It just feels like you're kind of like the king of the road. You can just see over everything. Not bad at all. Good use of storage space and everything like that. Ride quality, you don't really hear much. We're on a bumpy, pretty bad road. That's all you really hear, no wind or anything like that. And then moving over to the point of view now. Yeah, certainly a nice place to be. Let's go back into just automatic mode and kind of let the car tone down. But I like the view that you get of everything, you know, really simple to use, and it feels like a modern SUV. I like that a lot, especially with the screens, the way this all kind of flows down. You know, it feels like you're in something a little bit above and beyond. I think Jeep has always done a good job with these Grand Cherokees to make them actually feel like a luxury SUV from an American brand, obviously. You know, you think of Jeep, you think of an off-roader, but with a vehicle like this, you get the off-road stuff, but you still get the luxury aspects. So let's check out the cruise control. Let's see how we do this. Just tapping it once and we'll set it. So we have our lane keeping and everything, forward distance pacing. We can adjust that if there was a car there. But pretty simple the way everything works there. Let's see how the lane keeping does. We are on a straight road, but you know, it's gonna keep it nice and straight. Yeah, I really don't have much to complain about or anything like that. It's hard to really pinpoint anything negative about this. It drives just really nice and tight. You know, I feel like I've broken record saying that like 10 times, but you know, it really does feel like that. And the 8-speed, I think, delivers the power nicely. It's not the most powerful thing out there, but it gets up to speed without thinking. It's just really well balanced, and I think you kind of get what you're looking for in an SUV like this. And the fact that you do have all those different drive modes, the way everything works, that's a really good touch to be able to hit some trails. You know, you can go camping, you know, a camping trip or something, go up a dirt road of some sorts, and actually even get into a little bit more of some hardcore off-roading. The four-wheel drive system is gonna do a lot to really manage the power and everything in this. But overall, first impressions in this SUV, I like it actually. I think it's a really nice sized vehicle because it's not that big. You know, it's got the space for people in the back and plenty of cargo space, but without that third row like the L is gonna have, you get a little bit smaller SUV to where it's easier to park, easier to pinpoint around, you know, easier to put in your garage and things like that. So I like the sizing a lot for just a nice normal SUV and pretty well priced as well. You know, I think this is definitely something to take a look at. I really don't have any complaints. Everything seems to work pretty well. Only complaint maybe is I can't get the seat any lower, so I really feel pretty high up. The hood is very low in my viewpoint compared to other vehicles that I've driven. So if you're a little bit taller than me, I'm almost 6 feet. If you're taller than that, you might feel a little bit too high up. But overall, definitely a pretty cool SUV. So I think that's it then. Gonna wrap it up for the 2022 limited trim level of the Jeep Grand Cherokee. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for plenty more content. And then a big shout out and thank you once again to Feeney Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram for providing this new Jeep for today's video. Take a look at their website down below. So I will see you guys in the next video.